Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to SCL Season 6 action. We are set to get ourselves underway here with K10 taking on CARGORUN, of course. For those of you aware on Twitter, the SCL caster predictions did come out. K10 were my personal pick to go through towards getting themselves a win here in the Masters Division. As we are going to slowly see their CT side here, looking to try and get a little bit of supremacy started here in the server. We are going to see K10 lose Moshi quite early on now. And A hit to come through, Pie Face falling. Now, Willem will fall, and we are going to see a plant come down here for CARGORUN. Now all of a sudden, Prox Carter Lad to be stuck here in a 2v5 situation. There is no kit in play, however, we are going to see Big able to find himself an early frag. Carter Lad to be chased down here. Dijon finding that frag, however, Hawa was able to narrowly avoid getting the knife, ladies and gentlemen. CARGORUN set to get themselves into a position where they can potentially put together some fairly dangerous rounds. And more importantly, look to try and get themselves into a position where there's going to be a lot more struggle, a lot more fight coming through. We are going to see Big find himself the first frag. Prox going down quite early on. As we do continue to see CARGORUN fight quite early on here for a little bit of supremacy in the server, at least during the Force Wars. So we are going to see Moshi look to try and have himself that pick. Of course, that short position is where you usually chuck your best player. We are going to see Wire going down, Pie Face falling. Moshi good enough for one with the deagle. Potential for the second to come here. But a 3v2 situation here as K10, their B anchors, all of a sudden being wrapped around this A site. Is firmly going to be in the hands here of CARGORUN as they slowly start to make their way over. Of course, Instinct will try to keep himself alive as much as he can through this top mid area of the map. Moshi will go down. The trade from Carter Lad to come through, and it looks as if a save potentially on the cards here for K10. As we do start to slowly see now a big shift coming through from K10, looking to try and slow this game down. We're actually going to see Carter Lad go for it. This is a ballsy decision. No kit, does have a smoke. Could potentially even 10-second defusal this. We are going to see Carter Lad will spot the first one. Resolek goes down. The 10-second defusal needs to be tapped. We are going to see Dijon will fall to Carter Lad, but with no time left, we are going to see CARGORUN able to pick themselves up a second. Carter Lad to find both players. However, give up the bomb explosion. Now we start to see CARGORUN now in a position where it does look to be as if we are going to slowly see K10 to try and get themselves a first round here off the back of the AK-47 saved over by Carter. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a Deagle upgrade, maybe even an MP9 buy coming through, but it looks to be no armor on a lot of these pistols here. An interesting buy and an interesting decision here from K10. As we are going to continue to see Resolix and Big looking to be the support over here on this B site. We are seeing Moshi play a little bit more of a passive B anchorage role here in this round. No short aggression to be shown so far. Moshi actually going down quite early on. We're going to see Resolix able to find himself one. Potential for the second to come through as he's down on 7 points of health. Prox will be tagged up quite heavily. Carter Lad with that AK-47 will look to try and bounce through in this short control. Good enough for one. Potential for him to try and double up, but I think especially seeing CARGORUN now, their ears have perked up all of a sudden. They've heard this AK-47. Carter, good enough to find himself another. Potential here for Dijon to find this final frag. The head's going to be tapped, and we're going to see Dijon able to find himself that AK-47. CARGORUN to get their AK back. As more importantly, we do start to slowly see yet again K10 going down, but going down with a fight. We are going to continue to slowly see Prox to finally get himself into a position where it does look as if we are going to slowly see Huawei up. To throw that utility over towards this A hit, it is going to be Pieface here with this AWP looking to try and get himself into more of a position where he can be more effective. Good enough for one. The trade will come through. The AWP going down. Big gun to find himself that frag. Prox with that nade. Absolutely should have done more damage, but isn't able to. We are going to continue to slowly see Hua on this site looking to try and find himself a bit of a cheeky frag. K10 continuing to try and get this pressure through the CT area of the map. Cardelad, good enough for one. Will be traded as Resolux to get himself a pick. Prox through Idiot Wall will be able to find himself one. Moshi to get that trade coming through. Resolix, good enough for one. Resolix can't find Moshi. Moshi stuck in the 1v1 situation. Smokes to go out. The bomb to be tapped. We are going to see Dijon go down and Moshi to find himself a clutch and a 3k in such a crucial situation for K10. We're going to see them pick up their first round, all thanks to Moshi. The AWP to be recovered here. And K10 with someone like Moshi, someone who's so experienced in the server. An absolute godsend as he's able to find himself at a beautiful round coming through. Of course, the former Aura roster continuing to try and get itself into a position where it can stay competitive. And in a recent sit-down I did with Moshi that's supposed to be released around tomorrow, it does look as if, Moshi's quite happy with K10 at the moment. You know, someone who has very quickly become an absolute star here in UK Counter-Strike. Quite happy with K10. As we do continue to slowly see him become almost one of the more hyped players at the moment within UK Counter-Strike. Moshi, an absolute star. As we're going to continue to slowly see him find frags. A beautiful second frag so far, finding the head of Dijon. We're going to see Huawei up. Able to get that plant down as Pieface falls. We are going to see the AWP if Huawei have nothing at all to say. Moshi to find himself 4, recover the AWP, and more importantly, gets himself a bomb defusal. We're going to see the double AWP setup actually come through here from K10. A really ballsy decision. And I guess one of the fixtures here of UK Counter-Strike. Of course, what would UK Counter-Strike be without the double AWP setup? I don't know, you might have to ask nearly everyone who's a part of UK Counter-Strike, I guess. We are going to continue to slowly see now. A big push come through from CARGORUN over towards Moshi. Moshi to find himself that frag. Potential for Moshi to really be a big influence here over on this B side. A rare miss for him. He's able to make sure he doesn't miss a second time. Good enough to find himself a second. Moshi to continue his presence over towards this B site. Having the rotations come over quite early as well. K10, I think CARGORUN looking to try and manipulate them as best as they can. Throwing away 2 lives to maintain control of the bomb. Definitely a ballsy decision here. But I think the more that we do see K10 looking to try and compete, we are going to see Pieface, a really heavy tag. As Huawei up. We'll try to maintain some of this jungle presence. We are going to see that short player, Dijon, going down. Big Moshi fan. Well, there you go. Moshi's got himself a 3rd so far. Prox to find himself the frag after Pieface does go down. The double AWP setup will be maintained here in the server. I think especially for K10 at the moment, having this double AWP setup is so crucial towards their success quite early on here in this half. You know, we see K10 being able to potentially get themselves towards that 8, maybe even 9 mark. You know, we can see this CT side really carrying a lot of this CARGORUN offense to all the way to 30 potentially. CARGORUN, definitely one of the teams that, you know, I think especially we are slowly seeing become one of those really big sort of showing sides, and I think K10 will be a good matchup for them at the moment. Of course, K10 quite early on have had themselves a lot of achievements. Of course, being a big Moshi fan myself, I know all about them. So we are going to slowly see, yet again, a big push come through here from K10. Towards this B side, actually forcing CARGORUN over towards this A area of the map. Pieface, a big job ahead of him. Needs to be able to find a first frag. Dijon on this palace hit can't be the one to find the first frag. CARGORUN need to get themselves this A hit. Whoever gets this first frag usually will have the site. We're going to see rotations come through quite quickly. We're going to see procs. We're going to see Willian continue to get aggressive. More importantly, CARGORUN unable to find that first frag. We're going to see Dijon actually find procs, and all of a sudden that bomb going down. Relox from behind, good enough for one. The AWP of Moshi trapped towards a corner. Moshi to be able to find himself a frag. More importantly, needs himself a second and will. Moshi, quite close quarters, will burn in the flames. That's why we up to get himself an AWP here. The 2v3 situation, a very, very smart play from Hardware. We're going to see Pieface go down as we're going to see CARGORUN able to pick themselves up 4 and all of a sudden stop the early bleeding here as K10 unable to continue this run of good form. We're going to see Pieface looking towards an SMG. It does look as if we are going to see K10. This stream is not going to be an hour of me simping for Moshi. Pieface is right there, okay? Let's calm it down, yeah? We are going to see K10 now in a position where we are going to see Prox being able to find himself a beautiful frag quite early on. You know, that early mid-aggression going down quite early. CARGORUN with a minute 30 left to play, and it does look as if we are going to continue to slowly see a B hit come through. Cartalad and Moshi to hold down this Apps Apartments area of the map. Moshi, good enough for one. Cartalad to be able to find that trade. More importantly, Big continuing his aggression. Holding towards jail. I think especially this MP9 needs to be able to find a frag. The AWP, it's going to be up for grabs, and we're going to see Carter get both hands on it. He's not letting go. We're going to see K10 able to pick themselves up 4 as a beautiful, beautiful round coming in from K10. You know what, Rachel? You better chant Moshi Supremacy. I can't believe it. I can't believe you wouldn't. Moshi Supremacy. I believe. We are going to see Prox good enough for one. Won't be able to find himself the second there. Resolix able to find himself that trade on a Prox. As it's just continuing to be a bit of a back and forth dogfight here in the server. K10 looking to try and get themselves that frag that'll continue to be able to push these Deagles to a point where they can break. But K10 at the moment bending, not breaking. I think has to be the motto here of the CT side. You know, they can bend all they want, they can bend all they need, but at the end of the day, if they break and they go down, we can have troubles here in the server. We are going to start to see Big start to make his way over towards this A side here. Pieface, no idea what's coming for him. He's good enough for one. We're going to see Big able to find himself that frag. More importantly, the chase down from Willian. Continuing to try and hunt. Over here in the server, we are going to see that flash come through, but all of it's doing is buying time here for this mid play to come through. Moshi to lead the charge, lead the cavalry is Willian. Able to find himself one. Potential for the second. Willian for 2. All of a sudden, Moshi to find the final frag and K10 to pick themselves up 5. A brilliant retake coming through. Moshi won't opt for an AK-47. Instead, will keep the M4A1S in the server. I do think it is quite interesting when we do see the CT side not opt to get a Kalashnikov in the server, you know. Seeing teams that do deny the potential of that one-shot headshot potential as well is really... it's interesting to me. You know, it's interesting. We see so many Counter-Strike players who feel so smooth and so calm, sitting there holding angles. We're going to see Huawei able to find William. But, you know, players who are so comfortable sitting there on these lines where, you know, they only really need to click once to be able to have so much impact. And opting against that usually is something that I do find quite intriguing. You know, teams that opt for the M4A1S over that AK-47 It's not something that we do see nowadays too often. Prox is sexy, of course. Prox is probably the second sexiest person on this K10 team, I'm not gonna lie. We are going to see a result, able to find Cardelad. As Prox, well, I mean, that's a sexy frag, and Resolix just cheating, really, to find Prox. This is going to be a completely biased cast as well. Everyone in K10 sexy? Ah, Finn, maybe no. Finn, maybe no. Maybe not Finn. Of course, that is a joke. I do love Finn. I do love you, Finn. I do love you. Finn, maybe not. We do see CARGORUN able to pick themselves up 5 here at the moment. We're going to see the 2 blemishes here on this K10 buy. Mainly those 2 Deagles, the FAMAS on William. Potential for that to get underway. We are going to see Moshi burn in the flames. Trying to be quite aggressive. Trying to hold that angle. He will go down. Prox good enough for 1. Prox good enough for 2. Prox good enough for 3. Shutting down in this unders area at the moment. The Deagle doing so much damage. Now the 2v2 situation, the bomb definitely headed towards this B site. And very, very little that K10 can do about it. We are going to slowly see CARGORUN. A minute left to play. K10 putting their money on this A site. As CARGORUN looking to slowly clear B. The bomb will go down. No say about that. From K10. We are going to see CARGORUN now put a timer on K10 here at the moment. We are going to see an AK recovered. 2 AKs to be recovered, actually. We're going to see William. Potential for him to actually find that AWP, and if it does, all of a sudden we can really see the potential here of a retake coming through. William does have himself a smoke, a Molotov, and a HE grenade. We are going to see why we are good enough for 1. Does spot the second as well. The nade. Unable to get any damage done. Prox to hold that smoke line. We are going to see why we actually find himself the frag. CARGORUN able to pick up 6 here and take the lead back yet again. K10 stuck on the pistols. It will be a pistol upgrade coming through. Prox so deadly with the Deagle. We are going to continue to slowly see K10 now in a position where, you know, these pistols do need to isolate frags. I think more importantly, we do need to see K10 be in a position where they can get themselves a little bit of wiggle room to work with. So we are going to continue to slowly see K10 now. Continuing this push coming through. We are going to see Hawia push his way up, able to find Pieface there. The tag to be returned in kind, but Pieface unable to find the frag. We are going to see Cardelad going down quite early on here. The double A lean coming through. William actually able to recover the AWP, but big to strip it away from him. That's a brutal hit coming through from CARGORUN. We do see Moshi able to isolate an AK-47. We'll be able to recover it. Very, very little that can be said from CARGORUN except the AWP to be recovered. Moshi to hide. As you know, usually we don't see Moshi doing this. We usually see Moshi being the hunter, but at the moment, Moshi being the hunted. As we do continue to slowly see this hold coming through from the AWP. It does look as if there is the potential for Moshi to maybe even claim a scalp here. And if it does, how big of a scalp is this AWP? Moshi to hide away. I think rightly so. Very little to be said or done here from K10 as we do see the AK saved over. It does help the economy out so much. You know, we're going to be able to see Prox potentially even drop over the AWP if he wants to. It does look like we are going to see the rifle set come through. Moshi to get that AK-47. You know, it will be a big factor here in this game. You know, seeing the CT side being able to use these rifles effectively, especially the ones that they do recover in these pistol rounds. You know, we do need to see that effect come through. We do need to see the effect, and, you know, when we aren't seeing the effect, when we're not seeing the effect, you know, it does start to bring up questions of, you know, is the calling quite where it needs to be? Are we seeing teams have themselves enough prep in the anti-strats? Are we seeing teams have, you know, enough in terms of individual ability to make use of these rifles coming through? But it does look as if CARGORUN have themselves a really, really aggressive B hold coming through. That lurk from Dijon does look to be quite scary. We are going to see why we are good enough for one. Finding procs, however, Willem to get that frag, and now Instinct to slowly get himself a little bit of wiggle room to work with. Will find himself a bit of a tag, forcing away a little bit of that con control all the way back towards jungle. There's now mid looking to be taken here by CARGORUN. We are going to see Moshi sitting there going, you know what? I'm keeping my foot on the gas pedal here. I think especially for K10 at the moment, having someone like Moshi so experienced, Willian actually blind able to find that frag, but having someone like Moshi so experienced continuing to, you know, guide this roster. It's so important for K10. However, CARGORUN looking to try and pick themselves up round number 8. Looking to try and win the half, as we do see Cardelad will go down. K10 to be unable to recover any rifles so far. Does look as if we are going to see maybe a Hero M4 come through, potentially an MP9 or to Willian. Deagle upgrade for sure for at least 1 or 2 people. Does look as if we are going to see a Deagle upgrade come through for everyone. Moshi on the 5-7. We are going to see procs have very little impact with that Deagle, as we do see him fall quite early on in this round here. More importantly, seeing K10 be in a position where we are going to continue to see CARGORUN now look to slow it up a little bit. They do know that it's pistols. We are going to see Hawaii are finding Pieface as well. The lack of a stairs smoke coming through from CARGORUN all of a sudden can open up this A site. We're just seeing CARGORUN waiting for K10 to push into these areas of the map. You know, the only thing you can do when you do have this eco buy is get aggressive. And, you know, just seeing CARGORUN being able to read the buy so well, so effectively. Just sitting back and going, yeah, let them push us, let them go into our crosshairs so we don't have to move our crosshairs to them. You're not going to see Dijon able to find himself the trade as Moshi able to find himself a frag, the first frag for K10 in this round, as we are going to slowly see Cardelad now in a position where a 1v4 with the Deagle. We've seen procs being able to get 3, however, Cardelad won't be able to find anything near the same impact at all, as we see CARGORUN able to pick themselves up 9 quite early on. And, you know, seeing T-sided dominance at the moment is something of concern at the moment. You know, if we're completely unable to see, you know, K10 at least get themselves towards that 7 mark over towards on this CT side, you know, it does start to raise questions. You know, what are we thinking? What could potentially be the play for K10? They can't really rely on their T side on a map like Mirage, which is so CT sided. You know, a lot of these 3-lane maps, you know, Mirages, your Dust 2s, your Infernos, they're so CT sided. You know, seeing teams being unable to find themselves in those positions where they can take effect of, you know, the CT-sidedness of maps can be quite concerning at times, as we are going to see Instinct why we had to find themselves one apiece. Now Procs, William, to be stuck into a position where they are going to slowly see a big push come through. Why we are to look to try and get some damage done with this scoped rifle. Redlocks to find Willian in a 5-10 half coming through, as we do see K10 led up the front by Moshi. He's found himself 18 and 10 so far, 4 MVPs. How many of them was because he went move over, this is my defusal? We'll never know. But CARGORUN at the moment having themselves such a evenly spread performance coming through. You know, everyone in double figures except for Instinct, who's played more of that underlying support role coming through. You know, he's still found himself 8 frags. That's still a really, really big showing, you know, from that young lad. Seeing players like Willian, Pieface, Prox, barely able to get into that double figures on their CT side, you know, that is quite concerning at the moment. We're going to see if K10 has the ability to bounce back. You know, what are we going to see from them on this T side? What are we going to see in terms of their calling? As we do look to continue to see a big presence come through, hopefully, in this second half. Pistol rounds, get ourselves underway in the server yet again. We are slowly continuing to see the developments come through as CARGORUN 3 stacking the A side, 2 stacking the B side, a mid take looking to be the hit. However, a mid to A split does look to be the play coming in from K10. We do see that bomb in that palace area of the map. We are going to see Prox looking to try and hold off some of that push coming in from that B side. We are going to see Moshi, Willie, and Cardelad to find themselves one apiece, and this 3 stack over on this A side does start to crumble. The bomb to be planted over towards that shore control. We are going to see Cardelad being able to jump out of the way just before he's spotted. Cardelad instead to find frag on instinct, and now Resurrect stuck in the 1v5 situation. Coming through the CT area of the map will be spotted, and will be enclosed in on. We are going to see K10 now just look to harass Moshi to find the trade for Willian. His teammate going down, Moshi going, "Oi, get off my best friend." So we do see K10 able to slowly get themselves into a position where they can potentially get a comeback here. This second round is so important if we see K10 being able to win it. You know, especially with those Mac 10s being able to find themselves frags against the pistols. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we see K10 being able to tie this up 10-10 at one point. You know, we saw how aggressive CARGORUN were in their first few rounds. A B hold looking to come through. The pistols looking to try and get a whole range of damage coming through. Prox to find big, and now I think, you know, we're slowly going to start to see some of these cheeky little angles coming in from CARGORUN. It does look as if the A hit to come through from K10. CARGORUN at the moment now looking to try and get themselves into a position where, you know, they are just wasting the utility of K10. I think especially with the utility coming out at the moment, it will be a waste of utility mainly. As we do start to slowly see the smokes go down. Big utility usage from K10 at the moment, seeing that they face no resistance, not even a spam through a smoke. As CARGORUN to start their push coming through, we are going to see Pieface being able to find himself one through that death hole area of the map. Pieface does put a second. Moshi good enough for 2. Pieface to find the trade for Moshi, and K10 to pick themselves up round number 7. Galil's AKs to be recovered. As we are going to continue to slowly see exactly how K10 can potentially start to work their way around the server at the moment. We are going to slowly see CARGORUN here, looking to try and pull themselves all the way around this B site, especially as K10 starts to hit it. Cardelad, good enough for 1. Cardelad, potential for the second as well, but Prox to get himself that frag, and now all of a sudden K10 continuing to look dangerous here in the server. A big danger at the moment, the UK side, as they do continue to push forward and do continue to find themselves a range of damage. We will see CARGORUN looking to continue to run. Pieface to chase. Of course, this Galil, if it is able to find itself a frag, can quite quickly get itself upgraded. Dijon. Oh, nearly was able to find the turn onto Pieface. I would have been very concerned at Pieface there. Good song. Good song. You know what? I'll give it that. I'll give it that. Bit of a tune. Bit of a tune as we do see K10 able to pick themselves up round number 8, not map number 8 I was about to say. Oh dear. Having myself a shocker at the moment. That's okay. You know who's not having a shocker, Moshi? He's having himself an absolute hell of a time coming through. Pieface to be able to throw out a little bit of support utility coming through. We are going to slowly see this K10 side with the rifles looking to try and do as much damage as they can to this predominantly Deagle buy coming through. The M4 is saved over from last round. Looking to try and get little bits and pieces. We are going to see William able to find himself too. And Dijon now with that M4A1S. Looking to try and keep himself alive. William to find that frag, however. So we do see K10 able to pick themselves up round number 9. And more importantly, seeing K10 really bite into that gap that we did see CARGORUN able to find quite early on in this first half. A lot of the questions I put forth towards K10 have been answered. I mean, thank God for that, because I was starting to get really worried that they weren't listening and responding to my calls or texts. I was starting to get really worried about it, I'm not going to lie. We are going to see that smoke go through onto Idiot Wall. The Molotov do follow. We are going to see William, a beautiful flick to be able to find the frag. Resolix to find Prox. Moshi to get that trade. Moshi potential for the second. Oh, what a shot. Instinct going down like a sack of potatoes. And Carter Lad to find Dijon. As one of my best friends, Nappa, says, he's gone down like a sack of shit there. We are going to see K10 able to bring this back. A 10-10 scoreline coming through. Does look as if we are going to see a heavy B-sided default coming through from K10. A little bit of mid-presence to be shown here from Prox. It does look like it's going to be a quick B hit as well. Seeing that CARGORUN are going to be on the pistol upgrade. The Deagles especially. It does look as if we are going to see K10 really trying to target the weakness of this CARGORUN defense. So we do continue to slowly see yet again a big hold and a big hit coming through from K10. They are looking to clash. Market continuing to be an area of the map where we do see a lot of aggression coming through. We could potentially even see Dion able to find this top mid player as we do see Prox going down. More importantly, William to try and find this close player here in Market and Will. We're going to see Pieface able to double up and a beautiful double swing coming through into Market as CARGORUN looking to try and save this AK-47 that Dion has managed to get his hands on. So we do start to slowly see Dijon to try and find himself an exit frag. However, probably not going to happen. The bomb will go off. While we are trying to recover a rifle, will he? No, he won't. We are going to see a timeout coming through. CARGORUN to call for it as K10 do take the lead back. As we do just continue to see an absolute crucial hit coming through from K10. Time and time again, you know, we're seeing K10 really being able to read this defense so well. You know, where we did see their faults on that CT side, not being able to quite pick where we were seeing CARGORUN go through, really leaving it to individual efforts, especially from Moshi, especially from Carter, to come up with a lot of these plays. You know, we've seen them really work together as a cohesive unit over here on this T side coming through, and it does look to be showing its rewards, showing its dividends coming through. We do start to slowly see K10 now into a position where this T side continuing to look to take space and look to continue to get aggressive here in the server. We are going to see that smoke going down. Hello, Mr. Bradford, how are you? It's been a long time no see. We are going to see Dion needing to find himself two. Good enough for one. Able to double up. We're going to see Huawei find Pieface, and now all of a sudden Prox Carter Lad to be stuck here in a 2v5 situation with a minute 15 left to play. An absolute shutdown from Dijon. K10, they may have taken the lead, but the question is, How long is it going to last? I think a question that a lot of people are quite scared to find out, really. As we do continue to start to slowly see Prox good enough for one. Potential for the second. Big to be able to find that trade. Now, why are we up? Beautiful shot onto Prox, and now 11-11 scoreline coming through. As we do slowly continue. K10 stink. We do start to continue to slowly see K10 trying to put together a little bit more of an aggressive hold coming through. Pieface back on his beloved big green. Let's see what type of mischief this young man can get up to. Molotovs to enter towards that site coming through. We are going to slowly see CARGORUN now in a position where K10 to slowly get themselves a bit of aggression coming through. Pieface to actively pull himself into a position where we are going to see Dion, Moshi looking to meet here over at this ticket area of the map. The trade for Prox coming through, and big to find himself that frag onto Pieface. The AWP going down, more importantly, a 3v3 situation to make itself known in the server. While we up to get that bomb down. Sorry, CARGORUN to get himself the plant while we are having nothing to do with it at all. We are going to see a smoke flash over towards that CT area of the map. Called clear by Willian. They know it's a mid-hit coming through here. We are going to see Instinct to get himself a little bit of utility usage over towards that scaffolding area of the map. CARGORUN to hold close quarter at Sandwich. We are going to potentially see what he can do here. It's CARGORUN needing to find himself one. Willian to find that trade onto Big, and now while we are stuck in a 1v2 situation, needing to decide what he's going to do. He will be able to find himself CARGORUN, however, the tag enough to force him away. So we do see K10 pick themselves up 12. CARGORUN's the best team in this match. Well, it's a pretty even game so far. Hook line stinker. Honestly, Shane, that's not one of your best, mate. It's not one of your best. I've heard better from you. Come on, you're better than that. We are going to slowly see CARGORUN now start to put himself into a position, not to put themselves into a position, my apologies, where we can potentially see a little bit of damage done. I think especially seeing K10 now in a position where they can be so aggressive, and they've got themselves a little bit of space, a little bit of liberty to put themselves into a position where, you know, they are awarded so much freedom through their play, through the fact that they've commanded respect from CARGORUN. You know, we're not seeing CARGORUN get aggressive up through mid. We're not seeing CARGORUN get aggressive, you know, through A main. We're continuing to slowly see Pieface show a little bit of that mid presence, and I think seeing this A main hit coming through, that smoke fades, and we're going to see Dion able to find Prox. The rotation yet to come through as of yet. Resolux to start to slowly make his way over. Huawei needs to find this first frag here. CARGORUN want to be able to try and hold down this A site, and will. All of a sudden now CARGORUN have a really good opportunity to try and find themselves a big piece of this A site here. We are going to see Moshi good enough for 2. However, Pieface and Moshi going down. CARGORUN to pick themselves up 12, and a 12-12 scoreline coming through here. I think what we all expected, seeing that we were taking a look at K10 essentially walk into a loaded A site. So we are going to slowly see K10 now, especially with Moshi. Moshi having 26 frags so far, looking to continue his amazing presence in the server so far. As we are going to slowly see yet again quite the push coming through from K10 to try and get themselves to 13. smokes to go through for this window area of the map. Carter to make his presence known. We are going to start to slowly see Moshi now. Getting to in a position where he should be able to find some damage. Pieface going down quite early on. This apartment's hold coming through here from Instinct, able to find himself a second. Dion to find himself William. Prox to try and get himself that frag, and a beautiful one at that. Huawei Dijon to now push through here in this 2v2 retake. It does look as if we are going to continue to see Prox, Moshi slowly trying to put together a few pieces here. Huawei to come through this market area of the map. Prox to hold that angle. Will be found by Huawei. Moshi to get that trade. All of a sudden, Dijon having to deal with that Molotov on the bomb. Doesn't have a smoke, and the Molotov won't be enough. As Moshi goes down due to a HE nade, we are going to see Dion able to find himself the defusal. CARGORUN taking the lead in the dying seconds of this game. As we see a 13-12 scoreline over towards this CT side. Toe curling shot from Moshi. Just the thought of Moshi makes my toes curl, I'm not gonna lie. Just the thought of Moshi makes my toes curl. We are gonna see Instinct here with this nade, looking to try and get himself a little bit of damage here on Pieface. Pieface too. Where is odds? This match hasn't been gambled on, my good sir. Usually you gotta wait till postseason for gambles, my good mate. But of course, if you are gambling, gamble responsibly. Big thing that you do. We are going to see Instinct able to recover a little bit of utility coming through here. Carter to get himself another window smoke coming down. How old am I? Old enough to gamble, mate. Old enough to put a bet at the pokies. That's all that matters, mate. Gone overly Australian. We're going to see William able to find himself one. Potential for the second to come through here. Especially as he does try to find himself a beautiful frag. Huawei to get himself one back. Resolux to be traded through. Moshi to find himself the frag. Now, Instinct find himself that 1v3 potential here, but it does look as if we are going to see CARGORUN happy to give up 13 to K10 at the moment. We are going to see Instinct to try and put together a potential exit, but I doubt it will happen. We are going to see Pieface with this AWP continuing to try and put together a really strong performance for his team. With that bomb ticking down, we will see K10 being able to pick themselves up a beautiful 13th round coming through, and Moshi in that round actually picking himself up 30 frags. Still a long way to go in this game so far, ladies and gentlemen. K10, CARGORUN 13-13 apiece. I definitely wouldn't keep overtime out of the question, out of the equation, as we do start to slowly see a tactical timeout come through, so we are going to have ourselves a bit of a match pause. So we are going to continue to slowly see, yet again, a big piece come through here. As K10 to try and find the pieces to this puzzle. Of course, this puzzle being the puzzle of life. That was a bit deep. No, it's not deep. Counter-Strike. We're going to see Instinct just absolutely run at the enemy. Find himself two. Find himself three. Can't find the fourth, though. Pieface to be able to find that trade coming through. Pieface and Moshi. How about this for a dynamic duo? Time and time again, we've seen it. So much so, this duo continue to find a huge, huge impact in the server. Resolux to try and find himself that first frag will. Potential for Pieface now to find himself the 1v4 situation, but the Deagles from CARGORUN hold. CARGORUN to pick themselves up 14. As now we start to slowly see CARGORUN try to put themselves into a situation where we do see K10 trying to hold on to this game. I'm going to see Huawei able to find himself one. Potential for the second to come through here, but that top mid Molotov forcing away K10's ability to fight for top mid. More importantly, Huawei able to find himself absolutely nothing coming through there. Instead, we'll have his teammate go down. As Huawei are looking to try and find himself a little bit of wiggle room here after such an embarrassing miss. We are going to slowly see now K10 who work themselves up. Instincts to slowly put together small bits and pieces coming through. There's now a 3v3 situation underway. Huawei needs to find himself a first frag coming through. Pieface to get the frag as the two AWPers go toe to toe. The bomb to go down, and now a 3v2 situation here. The mid control coming through. We are going to see Instinct fall. And now what's looking like a potential 14-14 scoreline to come through unless Dion has anything to say about it. We are going to start to slowly see now Dion to try and put together a big chunk of holds coming through. Needing to try and find himself a little bit of wiggle room. We could potentially even see a fight come through. Dion and Pieface literally staring at each other through the wall. You know those romantic scenes where, you know, they've got the hand on each side of the glass? That's kind of what Pieface and Dion were doing there. A little bit of a love story to come through. I don't mind that at all. I do love a bit of a cheeky love story in Counter-Strike. You know, so many love stories in Counter-Strike when you think about it, right? Like, will you be the A short to my A palace? That's not even a thing. I'm talking about Dust. Like, that's not even. I'm talking about two different maps, really. Honestly, I'm just gonna go back to commentating the game. Really, like, if they didn't call a timeout, I wouldn't be stuck in this awkward situation with the chat. Damn, that was actually really bad. Thank God this game's underway. We're going to get ourselves back into it. A 14-14 scoreline here. K10 looking to try and put the pieces of the puzzle still together. K10 have slowly worked their way through. Huawei to be able to find Pieface as he does take himself a bit of a seat. Does look pretty cool, I'm not going to lie. Looks like a cool, calm, collected fella. We're going to see Big through this mid control. Good enough for one. Can't find himself that second though. William to be able to find a good chunk of damage with that nade. Procs to, however, take a beating. Cardelad and Pieface now looking to try and lead the way. So, Cardelad and Pieface to sit by the waysides as we do see K10 looking towards this A site coming through here. I think especially Huawei's hold and Huawei's position, the AWPer needs to try and find a little bit of wiggle room, especially coming through over on this hold. Dion jump spotting. Huawei are to be so concerned about this mid area of the map. We do see Dion throwing that flash coming through. Huawei needs himself a big time play here. With the cross coming through. Dion able to find Moshi. Procs, William Huawei are good enough for one. Huawei are good enough for a second as CARGORUN able to pick themselves up 15. We are going to see CARGORUN call for match point here. There's the timeout to come through. So we will see K10 continuing to try and keep themselves into a position where they can stay alive and potentially take this to overtime. Now it's slowly looking as if we are going to continue to see the presence of CARGORUN come through consistently. We will start to slowly see yet again CARGORUN looking to try and hold off K10 for potentially the last time here in this game. We are going to slowly see yet again Carter able to find himself a frag. CARGORUN now leaving it down to Prox and Pieface to try and put together enough damage on this B site to try and get themselves a position where they'll be able to take out the round, potentially keep themselves alive here for overtime. Pieface able to now make this a 2v2 situation. M4A1S to be recovered. The AWP of Huawei up to be ringing out. More importantly, we're seeing this short presence come through. Pieface needs to find this frag on the Huawei up. We'll jump through that market window area of the map. Huawei to push through that market door. Will be found by Pieface. It's all going to be down to Dion. Now stuck in the 1v2 situation. Dion can't find himself the frag, and all of a sudden K10 taking this to overtime. Huawei up. He can complain all he wants about the servers, but when Pieface is going so aggressively at you, he's bound to find the frag and take this game to overtime. We are going to continue to slowly see here overtime making itself underway. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got about 30 seconds to get yourself some popcorn, maybe even a nice drink. Maybe even a nice drink. Of course, water. For those of you who are trying to stay healthy, make sure you do drink water. It is pretty good for you. It's K10 to take it to overtime. K10's actually just shocked. Finn, it's okay. Calm down. You'll have a heart attack, mate. We are going to see K10 continuing. What's water? I don't know. I drink G. I just dry sniff G Fuel, honestly. That's my water. My water, quote unquote, is just dry huffing G Fuel, mate. Dry sniffing G Fuel. I got lines in G Fuel. Lines of G Fuel. Of course, in a video game. We are going to continue to slowly get ourselves underway here in overtime number 1. K10 put back onto the T side. Carter going down quite early on. Huawei had to find himself that early frag. Game of Coke. Actually, I'll probably start using that one. We're going to see Prox good enough for one. Oh dear. That Molotov missing. We'll start to slowly show a blemish here as this jungle hold comes through. Resolog's good enough for one. Moshi to be able to find that trade. Moshi trying to hold off some of this mid control coming through. However, Dijon through that ticket area of the map, trying to find himself a frag. Won't be able to prevent the bomb plant. However, will be able to take Prox down with him. Moshi tagged through that wall. Huawei up to continue his presence. We are going to slowly see both K10 boys show their presence towards Huawei. Now a 2v2 situation coming through. Smokes over onto that bomb. We are going to have that bomb tapped. Spray to come through from both Willian and from Moshi. Moshi for one. Moshi potential for the second as Dijon to slowly stick the bomb plant. Moshi to find the frag, and all of a sudden K10 to find themselves 16. Moshi with a brilliant 4K entering onto this A site. Moshi continuing to be the man who is leading this K10 side. Literally dragging everybody else on the K10 roster by the scruff of the neck going, I don't care if you like where this train's going. It's going to victory. K10 to continue to push hard against CARGORUN. Time and time again, we've seen the individual effort from K10 really be the big impact and the big thing that is breaking apart CARGORUN and K10 at the moment. And it's individual players like Moshi, like we're seeing from Willian, like, you know, the individual efforts we're seeing from CARGORUN quite early on in this game from him. That is slowly creating a big distinction between these two teams. You know, seeing CARGORUN at the moment, 3 guys in the 20s. Seeing K10, it's just Moshi. It's just Moshi. Continuing to find frags. It's essentially DM in the server for this kid. So we are going to see CARGORUN. And Resolok, in particular, finding himself a big chunk of damage. We are going to see Moshi able to find himself quite an early frag. Willian to find himself yet another. Moshi to double up. Potential here for Moshi to continue to find frags. Procs good enough for Resolok, and now Instinct to push all the way through this B area of the map as Resolok's going down. Now, all of a sudden, a 1v5 situation as we are going to see K10 able to pick themselves up 17. CARGORUN, all of a sudden here in overtime, have crumbled. A big round coming through, especially from Willian and Moshi, but Proc's the real hero of the round so far, continuing to be able to find himself a big challenge here in this game. Procs really has stood up and been one of the players here that's had so much impact. The 74 ADR for the young lad, especially for a rifler role, is quite huge. We're seeing Pieface. The AWP has more turned into a supportive role, just allowing Moshi to get to work, allowing Willian Procs to really do their thing. A really selfless thing for an AWPer to do, to step away and go, look, I'm not playing well, I'll continue to play the support role. We are going to see Willian good enough for 1. Procs to be able to find himself that frag on the entry. We are going to see Resolex will be eventually found by CARGORUN. Now the 4v2 situation. Pieface will go down as we see Huawei good enough to find one with that scout. Procs to be able to get that plant yet again. Huawei won't be able to stop Instincts. However, to find that trade as Moshi goes down. A 1v1 situation here. CARGORUN to try and hunt down the scout. CARGORUN will stick the plant. All of a sudden, the ball in Huawei's court. As Huawei had to hold this Tetris angle. CARGORUN to play through default. A beautiful frag through the box as we see K10 able to pick up 18. 1 round away from being able to take out this game as CARGORUN could be upset here by the Russians. Sorry, the UK side. My apologies. K10 is Russian. My apologies. Oh dear. Oh dearie me. K10, a huge performance from them so far as they continue to grind their way towards a big victory. "29 frags from Huawei, 38 from Moshi. So we finally see Procs and Willian get themselves into that 20s area of the map. While a dominant win coming in from Moshi. Who are we going to see stand up other than Moshi on this K10 side? You know, we've seen CARGORUN have his moments, especially in that 1v1 clutch situation. You know, we're seeing Procs being able to stand up and continue to show really good form at the moment. We're seeing Willian be that guy who's being that second in, able to find the trades coming through. But now K10 really just relying on Moshi at the moment. And to be honest, I wouldn't trust anyone who uses the P2000 for a second. I'm going to keep it a stack. Just keep it real with you. We are going to slowly see Huawei go down. Pieface to be able to find himself the opening frag. As the AWP starts to ring out quite early on. Big looking to try and get a little bit of mid-control coming through. And he will get it for free. K10 really focusing on the side hold. So we are going to continue to see this 5v4 situation develop here on the server. A B-split looking to be the play here. It is going to come down to Moshi. Moshi, who's been so explosive here on this B site coming through. CARGORUN to help out as well. We are going to see smokes go down. to try and defuse those Molotovs. Carter good enough for one. Carter needs to find the second and will. Carter can't find the third. Moshi to find the trade. Willian to find himself one more, in K10 in overtime, taking a 19-15 win. As CARGORUN unable to get anything going so far. As K10 take out the win. A huge performance by Moshi. 39 frags. 21 for Carter 21 from Willian, 20 for Prox, 17 for Pieface. As we see CARGORUN, nearly 30 coming in from Huawei, but you won't see it because he's left the server. As a huge performance from K10. How many Moshi 4Ks have we seen? A huge performance from that young man. An absolute incredible performance. Whew. Okay, I need to go have a break. That's an incredible game. We are going to see K10 able to take the win. More importantly, K10 do move to, if I remember correctly, they moved to 2-0 in SCL Masters Division. 1-1, my apologies. 1-1. They moved to 1-1 in the SCL Masters Division. We do see CARGORUN, however. If I remember correctly, they move to 1-4. Unfortunate. Their early win against Team Hum, it looks as if we are going to see CARGORUN miss playoffs. As we are going to continue to slowly see K10 able to continue finding frags. Moshi supremacy. I mean, Kim John Moshi in the server at the moment. I'll keep it a stack. Just an incredible run from that young lad. But, ladies and gentlemen, I do have to slowly get out of here. We do have another game popping up in about 45 minutes. Legates to take on Blown, the UK derby. As we are going to slowly show off some of the best clips in SCL history. Moshi will definitely make himself onto this list after this game. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been your caster Flamboyant. I hope you guys have had yourselves an amazing night and hope it got better. Anyway, I'll see you guys in about 45 minutes time. Peace.